5 o'clock is important because Sheriff Fletcher announced today that the previously permitted march, the anti-war march at 4 p.m., would become unpermitted at 5 p.m. today. That signals to us that he intends to harass, if not inflict violence upon peaceful protesters.
Was the permit supposed to expire at 5 p.m. anyway?
No, it was not.
Okay.
That this is his own, imposition upon protesters that have gone through the formal process to get a permit and march.
The formal permit does expire at either 4 or 5. The one that was approved by the city, right?
I was told that there was a permitted march at 4 o'clock. Do you have any other information on that?
I do not.
Okay, well, regardless of whether people are allowed to march in the streets, whether they have a permit or not, we are allowed to peaceably assemble. The sheriff cannot just blatantly say the streets are off limits to protesters during a national convention. It is not acceptable. He has engaged in a reign of terror over the last few days against peaceful protesters, and it must end. So we're here at the mayor's office to call for action by the mayor to do something about not only the violence on the streets, but what's happening in the jails right now. I can clarify. We have also attorneys here from the National Lawyers Guild. There are activists, attorneys, and obviously media. H-E-R-M-E-S.
Is this C-H-R-I-S?
K-R-I-S. Thanks for asking.
Good thing I asked.
Okay.
Are you a lawyer, Chris, or just an observer?
I'm the attorney here.
Okay.
We have a couple of attorneys, Rachel and Colleen over here, both attorneys.
And your group is?
I work with the National Lawyers Guild as a legal worker, and I also work with Cold Snap Legal Collective, which combined they are the support system for protesters here at the Twin Cities protesting the Republican convention. Thanks everyone for coming. Appreciate it.
Say the door's locked and we're going to have to buzz. So
Okay.
just let you know.
Great.
And if you tell them that it's only a couple of, and then the rest is media, it helps
Okay.
from them getting all.
Well, please feel free to join me with your cameras. Contingent here of lawyers, activists, and media, and we would ultimately like to speak with the mayor about what's happening on the streets and in the jails right now. We understand that the mayor may not be available, but we'd love to be able to speak with a staff member if that's possible. Hi, my name is Chris Hermes.
Hi.
Pleased to meet you.
Hi, I'm Rachel Bengtson.
Hi, Rachel.
I'm the Vice President of the Minnesota chapter of the National Lawyers Guild. I'm attorney here today.
So we're here today, as you might be aware of what's been happening over the past few days with indiscriminate police violence on the streets of St. Paul and Minneapolis. And also we've had reports of severe brutality inside the jails, denial of medication for people who need it. And we're calling on the mayor to demand 3 things, essentially. But before I do that, is there any statement or comment that the mayor's office would like to make about what's going on right now?
Well, we've certainly heard various reports of instances throughout the city. We've taken those in as appropriate. The reports of actions at the jail are obviously under the purview of Ramsey County. Pass those along as appropriate. So if you have specific information that you would like us to look into, we're happy to do that. I mean, overall, I would say that there's been a lot of activity in St. Paul this week. Obviously, there's been a lot of emotions in play. We feel as though we've done a good job protecting folks' First Amendment rights. Thousands of people have come to St. Paul and been able to express their First Amendment rights in peaceful protests. There's been a lot of criminal activity as well. And obviously, we've taken proportionate measures to address that. As the convention comes to a close, all those are still ongoing criminal investigations, and we're going to continue those investigations. Obviously, there's going to be a public conversation going forward about, actions that were taken. But we feel, overall, that St. Paul has done as much or more than, previous convention cities to provide people the opportunity to express themselves peacefully, and we're very pleased that a lot of people have had the opportunity to do that.
Thanks for your statement. You mentioned criminal investigations. Is that against police or against protesters?
Well, every arrest, has a case attached to it. Those cases will go through the courts as appropriate, and those investigations will continue. If folks want to, make complaints about that, we have a mechanism for that as well, and folks are welcome to do that too.
Thank you for that option. We're here to demand immediate action, actually, because what's been happening is what we have seen, if anything criminal has been going on in the streets, it's petty vandalism, okay? But on the part of police, we've seen indiscriminate violence. We've seen tear gassing, pepper spraying, rubber bullets, concussion grenades, all on peaceful protesters. We have not seen this type of activity against anyone that is conducting themselves illegally. All of this indiscriminate violence is being conducted on people peacefully protesting. So as far as we're concerned, this type of violence has to stop, and we believe that the mayor may not control the actions of Sheriff Fletcher, but certainly he controls what happens on the streets of his city in St. Paul, and he must intervene. In addition, we're getting reports from jail. I am part of a legal support system, both with the National Lawyers Guild and with the Cold Snap Legal Collective. We take calls from jail. Today, at a press conference at 11 a.m., a 19-year-old kid by the name of Elliot Hughes made an account of what happened to him inside the Ramsey County Jail. Are you aware of this incident?
I'm not.
Okay. Well, let me describe it briefly for you. He was in his jail. He had not been fed for 12 hours. He was chanting for food. Okay? Must have been disturbing the correctional officers because 5 or 6 of them came into his cell. One hit him on the head, knocked him unconscious. Another officer smashed his head on the ground, awakening him from unconsciousness. They then put a plastic bag on his head, tied it around him, and proceeded for an hour to beat him senselessly. He pleaded for mercy, and they would not take the bag off of his head. He vomited inside the bag, and they refused to take it off of his head. Do you have anything to say about that?
I can't speak to any particular incident. I don't have any facts on that particular case.
How about a criminal investigation into that matter?
I'm not prepared or authorized to.
Are you going to take this information to the mayor and make sure he does something about it?
Well, I will absolutely pass along your concerns to the mayor, yes.
Okay, well, we've got 3 demands.
Yes.
We demand that the police violence end on the streets. We demand that all arrestees be released immediately. And we demand the dismissal of all charges. These are overcharges that are completely unnecessary. People have spent days in jail unnecessarily. There's one other thing.
Yes.
Sheriff Fletcher has made a statement today that a march that's going to take place at 4 o'clock, that's basically happening right now, at 5 o'clock he's going to consider that march illegal. Okay, so within less than an hour, we could see sheriff's deputies again engaging in indiscriminate violence on the streets. This is not a game. You're affecting people's lives. You're injuring people. The mayor is responsible. He must do something. So we want to know what he's going to do.
I will pass you. Obviously, come here to deliver a message. It's been received. You're coming in a respectful way, and I appreciate that. I will take your concerns back to the mayor. I'm just not in a position to speak to Sheriff Fletcher's actions. He's under the jurisdiction of Ramsey County. I will deliver your message back appropriately. And I just, I don't have all the facts. I'm not in a place to speak to any specific incident.
Well, you should check the evening news tonight, and you will see an account of Elliot Hughes and the incident that happened to him. How do you intend to get back in touch with us?
Well, if you want to leave your information, I'd be happy to get you back in touch with you. I'll give you my card as well. You can
Please do that.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, we want to get that piece of Riot gear outside. We want to make sure that we're going to be safe leaving the building.
We have lots of legals.
But
We should make that
I don't think
statement.
so.
No, he's not. But we
We
can
should
just
put
make the
something on
statement.
top.
Just one other
Here's
thing.
my information.
It's our understanding that the lobby is now full of riot police, and we ask that you ensure that we are able to safely leave the building.
I don't see any reason why you wouldn't be able to safely leave the building, just as you safely came into the building.
We have been in fear, essentially, from police intimidation and harassment for days on end. I was in a house that was raided on Saturday, and quite frankly, we don't feel safe on the streets of St. Paul. So anything that you might be able to do to ensure our protection would be much appreciated. If you can call down and tell these riot police to back off, that would be helpful.
Right. Well, you're going to be able to leave the building safely just as you came in.
Okay, well, if we're harassed,
We're here and
we
we're
will
talking
find out
to you.
about
Okay.
it.
We're here. You came here respectfully. We're talking to you. I
As long as
don't
there's-
have the facts to speak to any of your specific instances.
Yeah, we appreciate
Thousands
it.
of people have been able to come and peacefully express themselves, and you know, there's also been a great deal of criminal activity.
Well, hundreds
And
of
we
those
are-
who peacefully expressed themselves were also arrested based on little or no information.
And I understand that accusation. There's a process through the courts for that to be worked out, and I'm sure that folks are going to avail themselves of that process.
And you said we came here peacefully and respectfully. Why is it necessary that riot police have to surround the building for people who are coming respectfully to speak with the mayor?
Well, Ramsey County provides security for the building. I mean, you know, you came up
But
to
you
the door, the
said
door is
yourself
open.
that we're
here
respectful
we
and
are.
peaceful.
Yes.
So why is it necessary to have riot police outside?
We didn't call for riot police
Well, who
outside.
did?
I don't know. You'll have to contact Ramsey
Perhaps
County.
Mr. Fletcher.
So
Okay.
what's troubling, Bob,
Yeah.
is that no one is taking responsibility for this. You are saying, I am not responsible for the police harassment outside. We're going to go out, we'll probably be harassed. Who knows, maybe we'll be let free, hopefully. But who is going to take responsibility for this?
Well, I don't concede that there is police harassment.
Who can
sir.
talk to Sheriff Fletcher?
You came in. You're welcome to go to Sheriff Fletcher and speak to him. He's an elected official as well. Just as you're welcome into this office today.
So
You
you
know, I
think
hear your
he
concerns,
would
and
receive us
I
as...
hear your concerns, and I will pass them along. And you know, you had a statement to make, and you made it.
Excuse me, I haven't seen any of you guys taking any notes on this conversation. Do you feel like you've got these demands perfectly straight?
I'm happy to take them down for Joe.
Thank you for noticing that.
Well, I think quite the demands right on.
I'm Dennis Moynihan, I'm the CEO of Free Speech TV, and I'm also concerned about the treatment that journalists have been receiving here. We have Amy Goodman, who's actually accused by your city of a misdemeanor interference with a peace officer. You may be one of the 700,000 people who've watched her arrest on the internet. Do you have any knowledge of this case?
I don't have any specific facts on any of these particular.
Yeah,
like,
City Attorney
specific
John
instances.
Choi made a public statement that no journalist had been charged with any crime, and Amy Goodman, happened to have been in the audience and said,
Yeah, no, I know that she was at that press conference.
So, you know, I hope that Attorney Choi
Yeah.
gets his facts straight and makes good on his statement that no journalists are charged by dropping the charges against Amy Goodman. We also have two journalists, Sharif Abdel-Qaddus and Nicole Salazar, who were violently arrested by the Minneapolis police on your turf, and still have probable cause felony riot charges hanging over their heads, which is very chilling to a journalist attempting to conduct First Amendment protected journalism. And their civil rights were violated on St. Paul City property. And I would expect the mayor to intervene. He hasn't returned any of my calls.
Okay.
So here's my cell number, and
Thank you.
would like a
Do you want to restate
call
your-
back from the mayor.
You're writing
We're
it down.
gonna give you the demands because
Okay.
you know we want to save you the time of writing them
Thank
down. We've been in touch with a number of elected officials as well, besides the mayor's office. We've been in touch with Congressman Keith Ellison. He's very disturbed about the last few days about police violence and conduct inside the jail. He intends to do something about it. Congresswoman Betty McCollum wants to potentially conduct an investigation about what has happened. I'm sorry, we're over here. You listening? Okay. Congresswoman Betty McCollum is very concerned about what has happened and is considering. I thought we were here peacefully.
Well,
Why are you talking to these folks?
again, those
So
are-
can you tell them to leave?
They left. They're leaving.
Yeah, the camera on them.
Okay.
Please continue.
Congresswoman Betty McCollum, who's the Congresswoman for St. Paul, is very, very concerned about what's going on in the streets and in the jails. She's considering conducting an investigation into police misconduct. Do you have anything to say about that?
I can't speak to their comments either. I haven't heard them.
Okay.
Who's Riot Police, right here in the hallway. I assume you
You
have
need to
authority
intervene,
over
Bob.
this
We did
building.
not.
You come here.
I assume you have
Come out.
more authority over
I'm
this
not coming out.
building.
You're coming out.
I'm not coming out. We're okay.
Well, we're standing behind you then.
Yeah, we're okay. Thank you for coming.
There's no need for police to...
We're here peacefully and respectfully. That's what Mr. Bob Hume had to say, okay?
Who works here?
I do. We're just having a conversation. We're okay.
People getting this on film?
They're taking off.
That's the mayor's office for
You people should be ashamed of yourselves. You know that, right? You should be ashamed of yourselves. The way you're conducting this city right now is a travesty.
Well, yeah, I hear your concerns. When you come to make a
This
statement,
is a
you
very
made it.
serious thing that's going on here. This is not a game. And we expect action from the
They're
mayor.
not leaving.
I understand your concerns. I understand your concerns.
All right.
I
Well, it
understand that-
doesn't sound like you're hearing us. I
I
mean,
am
you
hearing
didn't
you.
want to go outside to tell them to leave. You were forced to talk to them.
Ramsey County provides the security for this building. We did not call these folks up here.
That didn't come from the mayor.
That did not come from our office.
Look, I'm not concerned about who called
Yeah.
the riot police in here. I'm concerned about the reaction that the mayor is having or not having on what's going on in the streets of St. Paul and even in the office of the mayor.
But I feel like I've given you a reaction.
All right. Well, I think we've said our piece.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming. If you have my information, feel free to contact me.
And